Hello friends, in this video I am going to explain what are various ethical theories which a GS4 ethics student, a candidate should know so that he is able to apply properly in the case studies particularly. I have listed out about 27 such ethical theories which I am going to, in this video I am just going to very briefly tell what are those, and in subsequent videos one by one I will be explaining in detail also. So here just I will tell one by one what are those theories and how they are used very in very brief. See, first let me share the document which lists out those theories, and accordingly then we can explain further. See, first of all, we should know that these theories are divided in three categories basically. In first category, I'm having two theories, two ethical concepts, which are useful for analyzing the case study, framework for analyzing the case study. So basically, these two ethical concepts are framework for analyzing case study. They do not provide any answer to us, but they simply provide a process and or a framework for analyzing the whole case study. For example, first is Kidder's ethical dilemma paradigms. Now, this was enunciated by Rushworth Moulton Kidder, who was an US ethical theorist, and he came up with a dilemma paradigm whereby we can analyze any case study. He has not provided any answer, but this Kidder's paradigm is only for analyzing the case study. Now, second in the list is Potter box model. Potter box model for ethical decision making. This again is a process to just dissect the case study, analyze the case study, and this also is not going to provide any answer. So these two ethical concepts basically help us in basically analyzing the whole case study so that we can apply further different ethical theories and arrive at some answer. So now second group consists of ethical tools. These are universal and important ethical tools. In this second category, I am having 11 such ethical tools. So first is Gandhian talisman. So Gandhian, because Gandhi has said that recall the face of the poorest of and the weakest person, and think whether your decision is going to help them, then accordingly you take the decision. So this anyway I will be describing subsequent videos, but what Gandhi has told, I mean, this is a very important as far as any decision making in any any bureaucracy or for any civil servant is concerned. Now, second theory is consequentialism, and I just want to inform you, utilitarianism is main consequentialism theory, which was promoted by Jeremy Bentham and J.S. Mill. This we will be again studying in detail in subsequent videos. Then third is deontological ethics, that is duty-based ethics. This was promoted by Immanuel Kant. So Kant said that act only on that maxim which you can will to become a universal law. So this was the Kant's philosophy. So accordingly, duty-based ethics comes from Immanuel Kant. Now, fourth is virtue ethics. The earliest proponent for virtue ethics was Aristotle. What sort of person you should be? I mean, that is the main thinking here. So it focuses on moral character and virtues like honesty, courage, and integrity, etc. So this is virtue ethics. Now, fifth is ethics of care. This emphasizes empathy, compassion, and relationship over abstract rules. The main thinker was Carol Gilligan. She also promoted gender sensitive ethics. So this also will be studying in detail. So this is here just in brief, we should understand. Now, sixth is justice-based theory. Justice-based theory was mainly promoted by John Rawls. He was main proponent, and he advocated the veil of ignorance to ensure impartiality in any decision making. So this is again very important. We'll be studying in detail in subsequent videos. Then next is Indian ethical framework. Now, Indian ethical framework, as you know, comprises of a number of things, including various, I mean, for example, Gita is there, very important key component. Then Buddhism is there. Then Jainism is there. then Gandhi is there, Vivekanand is there. So all these, I mean, different um, um, shastras, different niti shastras, dharma shastras, and different philosophers put together, they constitute Indian ethical framework, which emphasizes on self-discipline, non-violence, inner virtue, and niskam karma, etc. So, what are key ethical concepts from Indian philosophy? Uh, for example, dharma, ahimsa, niskam karma, aparigraha, karuna, satya, swadharma, all these things come from different, for example, dharma, niskam karma comes from Bhagavad Gita. Ahimsa, non-violence and truth comes from Satyagraha, comes from Mahatma Gandhi. Buddhists have promoted middle path, eightfold path. And Jainism has promoted Jaina ethics, aparigraha, and anekantavad, etc. So, this is basically in brief Indian ethics, which we'll be again studying in detail in subsequent videos. Next is contractualism. Now, this was promoted by Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and T.M. Scanlon. And this focuses on morality dependent on mutual agreement or social contract. So, this also is important. Then, next is rights-based theory. Rights-based theory was again promoted by Locke and Dworkin. Locke promoted natural rights. Dworkin promoted rights as trumps and they emphasized individual rights and liberty as the primary moral claims. Then next is pragmatic ethics. Pragmatic ethics was promoted by John Dewey, and he told that morality evolves with society and practical problem solving over fixed doctrine. So if some strategy solves the problem, then that should be success. I mean, that should be recommended and that should be used. So that was the thinking of John Dewey. Then next is moral relativism and moral absolutism. Relativism means morality depends on culture to culture or different context. It can be different. So that is morality is relative basically. But there is another theory. Morality is absolute. Certain moral standards are universally valid also. So this theory. So these 11 basically are core ethical principles which we can apply in different case studies. Of course, different principles will apply, but that this we should remember. Then third category is case study specific additional tool, because suppose some case study relates to environment, their environmental ethics definitely will apply. Some case study relates with media ethics will apply. Some case study relates with medical, then medical ethics will apply. So like that, there are about 14 other additional ethical tools which also we should remember, and that I'm going to tell you now. That is called domain-specific ethical frameworks. So a particular domain case study is there, that domain ethical framework definitely is going to apply. So now first is environment ethics. Any case study which is related with environment, you have to apply the environment ethics. And there are several principles which I will be anyway describing in subsequent videos, because here because of time constraint, I'm not going to deal any ethical theory in detail, but subsequent videos I will be able to discuss. Second is media ethics. Now this deals with principles, principles pertaining to media, journalism, broadcasting, etc., where truth and objectivity is important, or sensation, public interest, or sensationalism is there. Then right to information, right to privacy, all those things are then paid news and yellow journalism. So all these things will be covered in media ethics. Then there is another social media ethics. This is also very important, because some case study related to social media comes. Social media ethics also has to be applied there. Then, for example, social media, the key ethical issues can be invasion of privacy, cyberbullying, trolling, hate speech, disinformation, and echo chambers, anonymity versus accountability, behavioral targeting, ethics of surveillance capitalism. All these terms I'm going to explain in next video. So please, um, uh, you can also yourself study, but I will be also explaining subsequently. Now, next is bioethics. Bioethics is again related to biological sciences, medical technology, and life sciences. For example, cases related to genetic engineering, or euthanasia, or assisted dying, or artificial reproduction, IVF, surrogacy, organ transplantation. All these things also, their bioethics are important. Then another is medical ethics. Now, medical ethics is, as name itself suggests, is subset of bioethics. But here, basically, the core principles will be autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice, etc. in Indian context, Medical Council of India has also come up with ethical regulations 2002 that also can be applied. Then next is biotechnology ethics. This is another subset of bioethics. Biotechnology ethics can be applied where dignity of human life, informed consent and genetic privacy, risk to natural biodiversity. So all these things we can apply. The case studies were related to all these things, whether biotechnology ethics will apply. Then corporate ethics. This is also called business ethics. Uh, wherever case studies are related with corporates or business, then there this corporate ethics will apply. These relate to values that guide behavior in the world of business and commerce. Uh, Economic activities should be fair and transparent and socially responsible. So all these things we should know as far as business ethics is concerned. Then ethics in private and public relationship. This is again very important uh, because the several factors are involved. Key ethical elements are there. For example, consistency of character, conflict of interest, transparency versus confidentiality, role morality, etc. So all those things will be covered in ethics in private and public relationship. Then another is constitutional morality. Now, this is again very important because constitutional morality is embedded in the constitution itself. For example, as I earlier also told in previous videos, a preamble is there, fundamental rights are there, fundamental duties are there, directive principles of state policy is there. All these chapters have uh, ethically loaded articles which are very, very important. For example, they contain articles regarding justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, and rule of law. These are very, very important. And wherever case studies demand, we have to apply this. Now, next is foundational values of civil services. This is also again very important because there are some committee reports also which recommend what qualities a civil what ethical qualities a civil servant should possess. So all those things also we should uh, uh, remember and we should apply wherever possible. For example, second ARC, Administrative Reform Commission report. Similarly, Nolan Committee report is there from the UK. All these are very important as far as the values which should be imbibed by a civil servant are concerned. For example, integrity, honesty, consistency, impartiality, objectivity, empathy and compassion, dedication to public service, accountability and transparency, all those things. And then accordingly, philosophical inspirations are also there, Max Weber and Gandhi, etc. That also we need to apply. Then there is a military ethics, because military ethics again is wherever the question comes regarding armed forces, the conduct of armed forces, their military ethics needs to apply, which refers to moral principles and values that guide conduct of armed forces both in peace and war time. So this is again important. Then there is a war ethics. Now there is a difference between war ethics and peace ethics. War ethics is refers to ethical principles that determine whether it is morally justifiable to go to war, what conduct is permissible during war, what responsibility exists after war. So all this comes up in war ethics. Whereas in military ethics, the basically the conduct of armed forces during peace and war, that is covered in military ethics. Then next is social ethics. Social ethics refers to branch of ethics that deals with moral values and principles guiding human conduct within society. It is concerned with ethical responsibilities of individuals and communities in addressing social issues. So this also we should remember, and wherever such case studies are there, we need to apply that. Then ethics in international relations refers to the application of moral principles and values such as justice, human rights, equity, and non-aggression to the conduct of states, diplomats, international institutions in global arena, etc. So these are basically 27 different ethical theories I have already narrated, and these are very, very important. Uh, in subsequent videos, I will be describing each and every theory in detail and along with examples so that the students can understand how it can be applied to which case study, and accordingly they can uh, derive the answers and they can attempt the case studies properly. So with this, I would like to conclude this video because next videos I'm going to cover each and every case study, each and every ethical theory in detail, particularly with application to case study along with example. So I thank all the viewers and we'll meet again in next video. Thank you.